Warm greetings, Josie here. Welcome to my channel. You're always welcome to like or subscribe to support this freelancer here. And today, gratitude, deep gratitude for us to finally connect with the final Major Arcana Tarot contemplation. And you will see that on my YouTube channel, there is now a Major Arcana playlist so that whenever you do receive these prompts within your own tarot readings, you are more than welcome to connect and listen to and take what you may from what is messaged, and of course, trust that you can leave the rest for someone else may pick that up. And of course, since it is the 22nd Major Arcana thing, we know which card it is today. So it was interesting in preparing for this. So just allowing yourself to come and enter and gather as we move into accessing the contemplation and the considerations for the Hierophant. The Hierophant, if uncertain or unknowing of this word, it literally is like a keeper of sacred texts or sacred wisdom. Okay? A keeper of sacred information. So deep gratitude for those that support and have entrusted me in maintaining the sacred wisdom that is carried within my carriage. I am honored to transmit and relay what may wish to come through of this and for this card and for this message. Okay. Keeper of sacred knowledge, keeper of sacred keys, keeper of sacred ways to access in totality. This shares a remembrance of generations past and potentially forwards, depending on how we choose to move forwards together. Do we continue to supplicate? Do we continue to, adulate these beings and people that we feel are more worthy than us to maintain what is contained within? And there is something of being aware that instead of then looking outside of us at times and again pedestalizing one person, someone that seems to be they're sharing the know-it-all, the one that accesses the information's most wondrous and shares with a fair hand, little bits. There's almost like little sips of information so that then they can allow those to gather round, to see what they have maybe found or accessed within these sacred wisdoms or sacred texts, these sacred books, the historical records, right? They're sharing like the libraries, the reference points that have been studied and wisely then looked at and digested and sifted through and rethought about and then come to new conclusions for. And then they come and they're like, I am the wise one. I come to share with you these things. These things that are very, very symbolic and sacred, and have these teachings that can be found within not just multiple religions, multiple cultures worldwide. They're sharing that, in different lands and in different access points of awareness. And there's almost like then a prompt here of going on top of that, right? Acknowledging that in this card shares the energy of a scribe, the energy of someone that is willing to transcribe, to transmit, to translate. Do you see? It's like the access point, almost allowing oneself this they're almost sharing like this beautiful visit and connection between what may feel beyond like human intervention, more access of divine knowledge, access of secrets, of magic, of wonder, of miracles, miraculous experiences. And how, sorry, this message is quite deep. I'm like, don't mind me if I'm squinting at times. Thank you for breathing with me. And how these things accessed have over time shifted and translation because of these wondrous wise ones, that there almost was like their own perspectives of things, their own understandings of their, in their humanness, shifted sometimes these wondrous, simple meanings. There's something to understand that incredible sacred wisdom is simple, is very gentle. And so then over time, since it was harder to comprehend these things received most divine, there was much like alliteration and cognition and processing, multiple years and generations of processing these simple things to try to comprehend how they could be applied from the most micro to the most macro, and to be applied over times and over generations, right? So then there was almost like rules. They're almost sharing then there was rules that came about. Because, from these further understandings and thinkings and perspectives of how these ones that were allowed to be educated on these things, because in many cultures there was only specific like classes that were allowed to receive the education, right? They were considered the wise ones of the culture. And so then they received this information, and within their human perspective, sometimes may have translated or mistranslated what was originally transcribed to try to allow then, and what kind of came from it was these rules. And they keep sharing, these rules in the lines. And so then, we then feel that there is something almost harsh or hard in the levels of rules and regulation that come around sacred, so that we then give, we support and put up those that still feel like that they carry access to this information higher than, the ones that might not know, they might not remember that they and every human person within the on this planet, on this globe at this time has granted access. Do you see how the keys are below? They're below the feet of this pedestalized one. They're on this, they're right there, just a little hint going, you got the keys too, my love. You got the keys too. Whew. And these keys, right? Then we sometimes then feel, well, with a key, then we must naturally open and unlock and discover and uncover everything all at once. Like, the excitement of like, a kid, if they got a key to a candy store, and then they're sharing like that, it was just like, go at it, have at it, and you can get everything you want. That then there's like that first initial delight, and sometimes fright of like the excitement first of like accessing all of the goods, and then like potentially, like as we know from all those children's books, that like we then eat all the sweets, and then we get a tummy ache or a belly ache, or that thing that was so sweet and so yummy and so respected and revered and excitable, and like, oh my gosh, the candy shop, they take it all in, and then right, that then there's something, oh, I have to learn a lesson here. I have to learn a lesson here. No wonder there's just little sips given. It wasn't that the some of these people were all bad because we pedestalized them. It was because there's a beauty in giving little sips, because those little sips allow you to digest that simplicity and digest it properly. And instead of like feeling, but we want more, we want more. We have been taught in society, and like not just society, but we have been taught, they're just sharing, we have been taught to always want more, and to feel that if we access it all at once, then like we have all the answers of what's in store for us. And there's something about like, know that even if I showed you the biggest vault of riches, do you see the biggest vault of riches? Like every single material thing is answered from that huge vault of riches, that you can't then take it all out and carry it on your back. You can't take it all out and carry it on your back, or else your literal body will crack, right? Just under the weight of that, of all of that gold and riches and wealth. So there is something of honoring that we each carry a key, and that we can gently, almost like they're sharing, like configure ourselves to access not just like it all, but access like this gentle strain, right? Like this gentle rhythmic movement through our body of information, so that we can like sip like a tea or a yummy soup, and allow it to be gently digested. And then we can acknowledge that all of us have the capacity to remember, all of us have the access and capacity to also then write down what we remember, to transcribe it for further generations, and to share it forwards, this information. And yes, we may still group. We may still get together, right, to share the soup, to share it. And as we do that sharing, it's not then that one person has to be pedestalized and others listen, is that we can sit together and share the wisdom, that we can, like the little sip. It's almost like they're sharing like this little, like these little whispers, these little sips, like that each and every person that gathers in the circles around can share. And then the beauty of us sharing in that beautiful understanding, of like even almost like this equality of the circle, right? That we learn a lot from Indigenous teachings, is that then we're like, then we can actually like digest those little sips, see how they allocate with what we have remembered and gathered from our own sacred stores and wisdom carried within our own sacred libraries and access points, and then weave them into these beautiful tapestries, into these gorgeous, floral robes and different expressions, and create further understanding that is like actual, like that weaving that is tangible, that is actionable, that actually allows us to take, esoteric sacred knowledge and bring it into tangible, actionable, things like craftings. And so there is something, of course, then prompted in this card to remember your crafts, right? To honor that you do carry wisdom and sacred wisdom. And even in listening to this, you may feel certain parts of the body. You might feel certain parts of the body that almost you're like, I want that key. I feel it. I feel the little keyhole, or like the place to turn. And it's like, how wondrous that you have, your body is like sharing, yes, we store something here. And so know that it's not that you necessarily then are going to break your body apart to try to get it out. it is about them gently moving and honoring the time, just like how long it takes to build pillars, or you do you see what I mean? The time to have to feel solid in your pace, in your carriage, with like almost, sorry, they're asking me to look specifically at something in this card. Okay, so that the craftings, there's something about accessing what has been, remembered and transcribed, even like tattooed into the bones, into like the knowings of your peoples, and the beautiful mixed heritages of many of us that carry multiple cultures and multiple teachings, and that we've had to like kind of digest them even within us and sift through all of these different things. And then we come up also with like beauteous offerings, right? Like awarenesses. There's a wondrousness in our own unique carriage in this human grace and time and place that we are in. And so it's like, yes, those sacred teachings, it's not like we just take them and share them out like gospel. It's like that we take them and we almost like reconfigure them, or like it's not that it's that you're changing them, it's just that you're allowing yourself to process them, yes, with some of your own perspective, without recreating those rules and regulations and doctrines of past and previous civilizations that did not support all of humanity, that created many divides due to, power of thought, power of knowledge, and keeper of sacred texts. It's keeper of sacred wisdoms. There is something of also that, as much as it may have been written before, that there is something about this. Sorry, I'm having to ensure that I have the microphone good for this part. There is something about us speaking it out at this time. There is something that is being prompted to speak it out, and to use the sounds of your throat, and to trust that you will naturally then share some sacred information through the sounds as soon as you allow yourself to open your throat to it's like there's almost like this direct energy they're sharing of some of the information that's already been digested and that is carried deep inside, that comes out through the tone of your voice. And so you don't have to then try to alter that tone, try to placate the information, try to pacify people if you're sharing information, right? It's just speaking. There's this authenticity to the voice. There's an authenticity to the voice that you might not even fully understand. This is not something of like how to learn marketing and branding. This is of you just allowing you to trust that you carry sacred information from your peoples that have moved, and the history, like there's something of your history and of knowing on this planet, that you can then even in little digestion, even in understanding little bits of it, there is this wonder then of you opening your mouth and sharing it out. And not then for one person to trump all, right? Like not one person to like access it all. It's that we can then access and listen to each other, to listen and receive and see what we can then weave together. Deep gratitude for this contemplation today. I thank you, dear Spirit, most beloved ancestors, protectors, guides, and guardians. JosieH.com if you wish to connect. I do private services as well as, of course, some art and divination. And yes, that's my brain is out. I'm at capacity by this point, and look forward to seeing what comes up with this card for you. Take care, and you're welcome to comment below.